It is a deal that had to get done, and I know it's done, but how good do you feel right now? Good morning.
Well, it's great, and I had to share it with you on text because I knew how passionate you've been and animated and supportive and anxious and excited. So, of course, I had to share it with you. And I'm wearing my 412 sweatshirt,
Nice,
of course.
nice. So let's do.
So, yeah, I mean, this is pretty terrific. It's monumental. It gives us a lot of exposure. We've really gotten exposure. If you look at all the media outlets, it's almost as if the world is watching, not just the nation, but the world.
So, talk to me about how it will work with technology because right away people say automation, will that take jobs, create jobs? But you were the first to say with AI and everything, it'll work hand in hand. And one thing we know about Japan, they are really light years ahead of so many people in technology. So I see it adding jobs in the way of AI and automation, but also the human element sprinkled in as well. There will be new jobs created. So when the president said 70,000 jobs, I can see many of them, not just in the USW, but in the world of technology, and that'll be a good partnership.
It's a great partnership. I mean, think about steel, right? If you think about steel making in the 50s and 60s, the amount of people that are on the plant floor, automation was occurring all through that journey of making steel. And what really transforms manufacturing is getting people out of dangerous situations in terms of production. And that's what's happened. It's happened in steel, it's happened in aluminum, it's happened in titanium. I mean, you can take any of the metals that transform themselves into use. So, yes, we're going to see additional automation. I hope so. I hope so. But I also know that the commitment in this deal is that Nippon is honoring the relationships and the history with the U.S. steelworkers. So the investment, the potential investment in the Mon Valley has not been there in, I don't know, in beyond a generation. So this is a time for ignition, and the downstream opportunities are going to be profound. If you look at any of these towns, and I was not living here then, but you can see all the remnants and the imprint of what kind of communities these were, that had vibrant restaurants and vibrant places for people to go and schools, etc. So, there can be a tremendous amount of resurgence there. Automation is changing the way people work. It's changing it. Yes, you're going to see shifting in particular jobs. A lot of those jobs were completely re- um, repetitive, and those kind of repetitive jobs take a toll on the humans. The opportunities here for us also include research and development. Why not be the place where steel was in mass production in 180 years, 80 years ago, 60 years ago, and now we're doing research. We're researching what is the new steel, and the opportunity for people here to be a part of that is, I mean, a tribute to our legacy, but also a tribute to these communities that were decimated through the change of manufacturing that perhaps this region wasn't ready for back in the day.
Listen, Nippon, you don't become the fourth largest steel maker in the world. And now this deal hopefully will get done soon. They'll become the third largest unless you're doing it right. Automation has really helped them leapfrog many people in this industry. But why would that great country and that great brand say maybe tariffs could be one, but what would be the reason why they would want to come here to be a part of
First of
U.S.
all,
Steel?
they were never part of the tariff conversation. The tariff conversation is relatively new. This deal proposal occurred during the Biden administration. So this has nothing to do with, a presidential strategy. This has everything to do with timing and the fact that Nippon has been pushing for this opportunity and this deal. So both, Biden and even Trump during his election campaign were not pro this. But, recently the president, through CFIUS, through asking each one of the people that were voted on, participated in the ruling of this, asked each one of them for a document explaining why they were for or against this deal. And, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but I do know that our president likes to make a deal. And he saw that this was an opportunity that so many leaders in our region, Senator Kim Ward, huge advocate for this, Mike Kelly, Senator McCormick, they actually used their sphere of influence backed by the representation of this region to be advocates for this deal up to the president, up to last week.
Well, I guess I should preference by saying the tariff situation I met now that this is in place, and obviously it wasn't in place when this whole thing,
right.
that's where I was going with that. But
Okay.
my thought process is this. They are historians. They know about Andrew Carnegie. Their main person was actually educated in this country, been in love with the steel industry since the jump. So our history is awfully attractive, and that's one of the reasons why maybe they wanted to form this partnership, because they want to be a part of maybe igniting that again. Listen, you are who you are. If you love something, whether it's Japanese culture or what happens in this country, you want to embrace a little bit of that because it's been a part of the recipe of yourself. So I have to believe one of the reasons was U.S. Steel's an icon. The Carnegie, Frick, Morgan, those stories and those men are legendary. Grant Street was Wall Street. And they're competitors. And they're thinking, what better place than right here where it all started to take the next step? You don't spend billions unless you're going to make money. And they still believe this is going to make them stronger, more viable, and they're going to be able to make more money in the long term after this initial major investment.
That's right. You nailed it. As usual, you nailed it.
So what are you going to be talking to my boss about tomorrow? I'm kind of interested.
That's fun, right? What kinds of exciting things are happening in terms of real digital, transformation? I think that is going to be a ton of fun. So what's happening in your world? Because, everyone loves a good story, right? And everyone loves an opportunity to be able to either talk about themselves, talk about the work they do, talk about the thoughts that they have. And that hasn't changed, but the world has gotten a little crowded in terms of easy entry into podcasting. Not everyone's on radio and has the terrestrial, that you folks have. And what you bring to, what your organization and your boss bring to the table is a new vitality about what the next chapter is. So that's what I'm interested in talking about.
Well, think about it. November 2nd, 1920, the reason we were on 24 hours a day because of the shift workers, the steel workers, which eventually created the 11 o'clock news, DuPont, Kdka, Bill Burns, morning edition, evening edition of the paper. And now automation, the new brand, the new legacy, the workers, the steel workers. We do a lot of digital stuff. We do a lot of streaming stuff. We're actually streaming this live on the Metropolitan Window video screen. If you click on kdkradio.com, click on KDK Watch, you can see it and hear it unfold in front of your very eyes. And we're still at, KDK, now 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDK. So the times they are changing, but you have to evolve with the times, and that's what we're all doing, correct?
Yeah, I think it's exciting. Can't wait to have the conversation.
Yeah, he will be here tomorrow right after the 6 a.m. news. He is Mike Spacciapoli, Senior Vice President, Market Manager at Odyssey, and they're going to explore how the multimedia company is taking 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDK into the future. She is the CEO of the Pittsburgh Tech Council, Audrey Russo, and the show is Tech Vibe Radio. But for now, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend and keep up the great work.
You too. Be well.
We'll be back. Stay with us.